It's working now. It's working now. Play the song.
Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Success is not spoken, it is done. Success is done. Come on now. The Village Talk Show. Talk Show. The Village Talk Show.
Oh wow! What that was a torture. That has never happened before. That 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 StreamYard was so full that we couldn't even get on to the show. So I know a lot of people are in the room waiting for the show, right? And but you know what? Thank God is working now, and I'm excited. So welcome everyone to the Village Radio Talk Show. I am Roderick Daly. I am your host. I'm joined with our co-hostess, Dr. Joanne Bryant. Um,
Good evening, everyone.
so we appreciate all of you coming out and sticking around with us. Um, Please note that you're watching, viewing, hopefully sharing the Village Radio Talk Show, where we're dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today. Um, so how was your week going? How was your week?
My week is going great. I cannot complain about it.
Oh my
I
God.
can
Can
say,
you say something more than Malik was going great? Can you tell us why the damn week was going great for real?
what
Seriously?
is wrong with you, Roderick?
You always say that dumb crap. My week is great. I'm good. You sound
It
like
is. It
you
is.
sound,
It is.
you sound like my son Cooper. Cooper, how was school today? It was good. Um,
What is your problem, Roderick?
well,
What,
tell us what was wrong with your week. Why was it good? What was great? Why was it
nothing
great?
was
Tell us
wrong
what
with
was
my
going
week.
on.
It was, I had an opportunity to go and support different schools throughout. I interacted with coaches and people from all over the city and the state this week. So it was fabulous going in and seeing some principals and some coaches and some teachers and leaders. So it was awesome.
So you're telling me
Hmm.
because you love your job,
Hmm. I love
uh,
what I do. I do love what I do.
yeah. So because you love your job,
Hmm.
that's why it was great.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Please give me a break.
Absolutely.
You're
Just
full of you're
know
full.
what, ladies and gentlemen, he is so. You're the one who's full of it. I
Yeah,
love being able to support.
you're so full of toilet water
Oh, really?
and everything that belongs in toilet water.
You know what, Roderick? I was so excited.
One thing that's great is, in addition to how I feel about my week being peaceful and quiet, your health. I have been consistently praying, but good news has been springing on, and just um hearing that word from you last week, hearing those wonderful word and nonstop praying. Not saying that we stop praying, but it has kept me on a high, and that's the
You know,
truth.
you know what? Okay, I can't say nothing to that, right? I can't say nothing to that, because that part there, I'll give you that. Hey, Renee, how you doing? Thanks for dropping in. Jr. You
Good.
still need to call me and text me the event date. I don't want to be planning around it. I don't know the date. I told her to call me or text me, right? Um,
Hey, Renee, how are you?
right. If you need to get my number, just tell me. I will text you my number so you'll have it so you can do that. Renee, I got a question for you. While you online before you hang up. Somebody was texting me about housing,
Mm,
and I know that you deal with housing. Actually, both of you deal with some level of housing.
mhm.
One of our listeners uh, was asking me about. Let me read the text for you. Did you find out? Let me read the text message. Right. Let me read so I don't misquote the person. Where is it? Okay. I appreciate this, and that's not what she said. Rudy, any information about short-term rental, right? So I don't know if you have the answer to it.
Mhm.
No, it's okay if you don't have the answer. I don't want to put you on. I'm not putting you on the spot. But if you know any information, link me. You can link me privately or whatever, so I could forward the information to the person. She said that it's a senior who depend upon uh, rent, right? So I oh you don't, you
Mm.
know. All right, no problem. I asked just to find out. You know, I want to start off the show, which you might not know much about. This is called the City of Yes. I know probably Renee knows a little bit about the City of Yes, but basically, what the City of Yes is doing is looking at creating 20,000 new units across New York City. And in doing so, they want to model it after different cities around the country. And what that is doing is that it wants to upzone or utilize spaces that so developers can come in and build these apartment buildings. Okay, so I'm gonna put it on the screen, Jr. Right, so that's my cell, right? So just write it down and shoot me a text, and I will get it. Right. So let me see what that says. What does my text say? 718-791-3950. Right. Um. So basically, to create uh the 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 20,000 units. And then on top of creating the 20,000 units, it wants to look at different areas
Mhm.
in the city that you can build on to your apartment, right? So let's say my house, right? I could look at building on to the back and build up from the back up
Mhm. Mhm.
to produce a couple
Mhm.
more bedrooms or a bathroom to take away some of my backyard space and build up and make it more legitimate, which you couldn't have done before.
Mhm.
Look at other buildings in our city, and you build up on these houses,
Mhm.
right? And make them more accessible to people, right? And so I have a lot of people within the city have a couple of concerns about what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
One of these concerns, one of these concern is parking.
Mm-hmm.
They want to make it so the new developers don't
Mm.
have to provide parking,
Legitimate concern. Mm-hmm.
right? Because they feel that by providing parking, it limits the ability for the developers to produce more homes, right? More dwellings.
Yeah.
My argument is you're putting these buildings in
Mm-hmm.
high density areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're putting these buildings in high density areas, there's
Mm-hmm.
already no parking.
Right.
So you're now creating buildings where you're now you're increasing residency and you're decreasing parking. So what are these people supposed to do with their car? Oh, we're not going to affect on-street parking, but there is no on-street parking,
Yeah, because they put the bikes.
right? So now you're essentially forcing the New York City residents to
Mm-hmm.
ride bikes,
Mm-hmm.
take Metro Transit, MTA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or to walk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, I live in a Caribbean community, right? I live in a Caribbean community. In our Caribbean community, Caribbean people don't ride no goddamn bikes, right? They don't walk to work. They don't do none of that crap. They don't take their kids up, put them on the bike, and say, "Hey, Jolly G, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Won't you put your stuff on and let's ride the bike and go to school?" We
Yeah.
don't do that.
No, we don't.
We take
No.
a dollar cab, we drive our cars, we take MTA, and some of us take MTA, drop the kids off, and say, "Hey, you walk over to school," and we continue going on the bus, right? But at the end of the day, certain things are real, right? They're literally the zip cars are taking up parking spaces, the
Mm-hmm.
bike racks are taking up parking spaces, the bus lanes are taking up parking spaces,
Mm-hmm.
right? And now you want to put
Bike lane.
buildings in
Don't
and
forget the
get
bike
rid of
lane.
parking. And the
Mm-hmm.
bike lanes are taking up parking spaces, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but you don't want to discuss parking. Parking is not an issue, right? That's what they told me in a meeting.
It's
Parking
a
is not a
major,
concern,
it's a major issue.
right? So you can't bring it up.
What?
Yeah, that's what they said. So in certain parts of the district where you can't upzone, they're going to allow residents to be able to put 1 to 2 stories onto their apartment.
Because they won't be charged more.
Airspace, right?
Yeah, they have free airspace.
Right. So they can build up, right?
Right. You build
They
towards
don't address things like
your taxes are gonna go up.
your taxes are going to go up,
Airspace, no.
right?
But
Right. They don't address that. They're not
mm-hmm.
addressing. So let's say I decide not to increase my house.
Uh-huh.
But if you increase your house, the property values all
Yeah.
around you, they all go up. Guess what happens to
Your
your property?
taxes go
Your
up.
taxes automatically
Yes.
goes up. Exactly. So we get what's going on, right?
There's another
So
thing I want you to think about. All these, and you got to look at Queens because Queens had major buildings that was being built nonstop. What is happening in their areas? Flooding. Why? Because they start overbuilding. They're building so much that some of the piping system can't handle the amount of pressure that the developers are building. Yes, we're building this building down the street and another building down the street. Guess what? When there's issues and backup and things like that, piping issues get impacted by that. No one is really paying attention to that. When storm hits, they get flooded out big time. When it rains, it's not draining correctly. So all of that cannot sustain. And they tend to forget that aspect of building. It's not just above ground. You got to think of underground. What's happening? That part plays into it, ladies and gentlemen.
And people, and this is what upsets me, especially within our Black communities and our Caribbean community. You get a flyer about something and you walk away from the flyer, right? You don't see what the flyer is about. And then all of a sudden things change around you and go like, oh, I didn't know. Well, you didn't know because you were not paying attention.
And
Like
you weren't
you,
interested.
you right, you don't watch the news, you don't go to community board meetings, you don't go, which is the most local form of involvement within your community. Because
Hmm.
on my community board there is parks and beautification, rezoning, land use. um
It's true, Carla. When this happened, giving me flashback to Hurricane Sandy in Seaview Village of Canarsie. When yes, because the overstructure, overbuilding, developers are coming in. They're
yep.
putting mass towers. People aren't thinking Queens.
And the quick upbuilding of properties, right?
Yeah,
But and
yeah.
it wasn't just Canarsie, Seaview Village, right? It was Rockaway. It
Hmm.
was a number of places that were beyond um beyond flooded and beyond destroyed, right? People, you know,
And look
thank
what
God,
happened in
thank
September.
God nobody died, right? Thank God nobody died. But the reality of the situation is these things are real, and we as people of color, we have until the beginning of July to speak out and speak up, right? Speak out and speak up about what's happening. We need to attend our local community boards because DCP is going to every community board. DCP stands for the Department of City Planning,
Hmm.
right? And they're having things, right? They'll be back at our community board on June 18th. They'll be back at land use on June 6th, I believe the date is, right? Which is the first Thursday of the month,
Hmm.
right? And it's virtual. So it's not like you have an excuse. You could do it anywhere because it's virtual. To ask questions and find out what's happening. Maybe this might be good for you. Maybe you want to build up, right? Maybe you do want to, you have enough money to build 2 stories. My question is, what are we doing about derelict renters, right? You have renters who come in, they come in 3 to 6 months, they pay the bill, and then after 3 to 6 months, they don't pay rent anymore. You're stuck with the bill. So let's say you build up and somebody decide they don't want to pay rent because they can't afford it. Okay. Make the rent respectable and feasible. And the bigger crime was how so many of us had our home insurance drop us months before the storm hit, and no companies would have insured us with flood coverage until Sandy hit. Exactly.
Hmm. Hmm.
Exactly. These are real issues,
Yeah.
right? One person brought up, what are you going to do about flooding, right? Are you going to provide security for flooding, right? What are some of the things that you're going to do to provide protection for homeowners, right? The city doesn't care about homeowners, right? Bless up, bless up, bless up, kumbaya. Thank you, Chucky. Right. Um, right. But that's the reality, right? That's
Hmm.
the real. You don't care about homeowners, you care about renters. What
Mm.
about the homeowners?
Hmm.
What
Hmm.
do what do homeowners do when they get in a jam?
Right.
You know, you promised to build a railroad station in my side of the district going down to Kings Plaza. That hasn't happened,
Hmm.
right? So what are we supposed? So, I bring it up because our people need to be more involved,
Hmm.
right? And not be more reactive.
Hmm.
We are so reactive, and it's so late when we are so reactive. After July, everything's going to be reactive. Everything.
Hmm. So maybe we can have the different days. Well, I know that's a big undertaking, but the different days of the community board, ladies and gentlemen, is so important for you to be aware of what's happening.
But
The
people
state
need
of
to go to
yes,
their, people don't need to come to my
no, I'm not saying
board.
yours, but the
Each
different.
community board has its own day. Like
Do
Monet's
they have a
community.
date on I guess in Brooklyn, do they have calendar that has one.
Every community board has its date. Every single one. Community Board 18, where Monet lives and Carla lives, they are
Yeah, it impact. Your taxes are going up.
yes.
Income is not staying. They admitted that the insurance companies hired scientists who predicted something on the level of Katrina. So they pulled out so as to not have to take responsibility after we had been paying our insurance for years. Sad. Yeah, wake up, everybody.
Yeah.
Real estate for our people is at stake. That's true.
I don't know what that means, right? I'm not gonna say that's true. PI.
Oh, I was looking at Carla's when I said that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Karen Greenwood, I don't know what you mean by real
Yes.
estate for us is at stake.
Hey, how are you? How's Grenada?
Yeah.
John?
Welcome Grenada to our view. Welcome John to our view.
Yes.
And people, you know, let's get real, right? I just bought another house too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So all of that impact, if they're building up, building across, building around, your taxes are gonna go up.
Yeah, you know, and Monet, if you bought another house, I'm not sure if that's the new house you're moving to, and you have the old house that you're going to rent. This is going to affect a lot of people.
Mhm.
And New York City does not allow for you to remove a tenant in a short period of time. So your taxes go up. They're using water, they're using light, they're using this, they're using that, right? And you're going to be stuck with the bill that you might or might not be able to afford. But even if you're able to afford it, that's not why you bought the property, right? You bought the property for debt relief.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
that's not fair, right?
Yeah.
So people wake up, make your argument.
Yes, it is time for me to come to Grenada.
John, I'm not listening to you about visiting Grenada. All my Grenadian friends, all of them,
It's
they
time.
all say, by the way, John, they all say the same thing. Come to Grenada. I said, whenever. All I hear is come to Grenada. Put a date up there. Put a date. Don't be
Listen,
telling us come to Grenada to come for a vacation. No, put a date. We want to come. We don't know Grenada.
so we're gonna take a tour.
Right. We want to come when our friends are there so that
Yeah.
we know what's going on. Don't be telling us to come.
John will give us a tour. Let me tell you, John is
I don't care what John would do. Like my
John
friend,
will give us a tour.
like my friend says she wants to go to Barbados. I mean Jamaica. I told her no problem. Come. She said, "Are you sending me or taking me?" And the answer is, "I'm taking you."
All right, I'm ready.
When she's ready to come, please.
July, well, August actually.
See, you can't even make up your damn mind.
No, July. My daughter's turning 16, so I got the sweet 16 headache. August, after my son goes away, then I can.
Oh, please, you're full of crap. She ain't coming nowhere, John.
I'm going.
All right. So, but anyway, you know, just to finish up the conversation and not to tarry on it,
Jalen,
right?
we have Grenada, we have Florida. Hey, Jalen, how are you? I am having a great day. Look, Roderick is on. Full of energy. Our listeners are tuning in. Thank you for watching. August, that's a plan. August is a plan. I'm down. You down, Roderick?
I can't go. Not in August.
Well,
I have well, it depends on when in August, actually. Depends on when.
August, the end of August.
Can't go. The end of August, I have hopefully I'll be going to LA. Grayson, well, towards the middle of August.
Mm-hmm.
To the end of August, I'm going to LA with the wife and the kids.
Okay.
I hate chemo sessions because it makes my nose run. Sorry, audience. Chemo makes my nose run, and that's part of the issue. Yes, Jillian, we're having a great day. We just mad at a few things as usual. But the reality is, oh, so I'm going to LA. Grayson is a big Shohei Ohtani fan.
He's what? He has a competition?
No, Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is a baseball player from
Okay.
Korea, from
Right.
Japan,
Oh, gentleman.
and he has the highest contract in the history of the NFL, the MLB. Right now, he's getting $70 million a year. Yes, Wayne from Florida, from South Florida. Thank you for
Hello,
joining.
Lord. Thank you, everyone, for joining this
Right.
evening.
So we all want to go and visit South Florida.
Grenada first for me.
Right. Grenada is on my bucket list.
Okay.
Right. It definitely is on my bucket list.
Say that, Jim.
Grenada, Barbados, and Trinidad are on my bucket list.
Okay. Those all sound great.
Right. So you're gonna get to go to Grenada before me, but Barbados is coming. My friend is supposedly getting married, and we're supposed to go to Barbados. Trinidad, I'm waiting on my friend.
We, the villagers and the village crew, love to travel. So let me tell you, we definitely want to hit the different places, enjoy the wonderful experience of our Caribbean island, our not only Caribbean island, but all over.
Yeah,
South
so
America and everything. Yeah.
yeah, so I would like to travel to a whole bunch of different states. Although I've been to Japan, I mean not Japan. I've been to LA a couple of times, and I liked it. But I want to go to different cities in LA. Right.
Well, what's happening when I think about the housing market, what's happening in New York, and we talk about this all the time, people are being priced out. And it's making it very uncomfortable for people to stay in New York City.
Yeah, let me see who's at my door. Give me 1 minute. Go ahead and talk. I'm listening. I can listen.
Staying in New York City, a lot of us want to stay in New York City, but if it's not conducive towards your lifestyle, then you have to go where it fits. And some of the rules, some of the plans that's in place is not that great, especially the young adults. Yeah, Carla. Because guess what? People don't have to stay in New York. And that's what I think they have to remember, that there's options. Other states are options. Other places around the world are options. People are leaving. There is a decline. People, might come and visit, but they're not staying here. And
No, they're not.
by putting in laws and rules and taxes on the people who live here, it's not fair to them. It's not fair to us that live here. At what cost? And then when you create all these buildings and houses and say it's affordable, what is considered affordable? $6,000 a month? $9,000 a month? $5,000 a month? What is affordable? So I don't know who.
Thank you, Janice, for your comment. Yes, I'm feeling better. Thank you, and thank you for praying. Don't stop the prayer. Yeah, you know what, Dr. Bryant? I brought up this already, and I'll bring it up again. So the city brought up, DCP brought up housing and deep cuts on housing. And to say for a 2-bedroom house, affordable.
2-bedroom house or apartment?
Apartment.
Okay.
They want to charge less than $2,000.
Where?
At this affordable home in terms of AMI.
Okay, and what's
guess what the family income for a family of 3?
40,000.
right? 114,000.
A family of 3, they want
Mhm.
them to make 114,000.
Yes. So that means that each person in the family can make 55,000.
Mm.
That means that a fresh new teacher cannot afford it. A doctor who's a
Mhm.
resident cannot afford it. So many people are starting out cannot afford the
Mhm.
rent.
Mhm.
So who's it affordable for?
That's exactly what I just said. For who?
Right? You have to basically be retired, pauper, to be able to afford that kind of living.
Mhm.
So
And that's why you have more and more people moving to the South. A
yeah,
lot of people are
well,
moving.
depends on which part of the South, right? A lot of people are not moving to
The
Florida anymore.
Carolinas, Florida's way too
Carolinas.
expensive. A lot of people move to Florida, and the people living in Florida have to leave because they can't afford it. Um, Carolina
No, actually, Kate, actually, Karen, no, it's not affordable for the middle class.
is not.
It's not for low income families. It's absolutely well, it depends on what you call low income families. I just gave you an example, right? I just gave you an example of where it's affordable for low income, but it's not affordable for middle class,
That is true. They are moving to Jersey, Carla.
right? They're moving to Jersey, Connecticut,
A lot of people move to Connecticut.
right? Because upstate New York,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, but they're moving away from New York City.
Yeah. No
That's
one,
the bottom line. And so,
they don't get it. I don't understand. Kathy Hogan don't get it. Bless you.
you
Some of
think she
our
doesn't?
politicians
You
don't get it.
do you think she gets it?
No,
I disagree.
I don't think she get it.
I'm gonna tell you why I think she gets it.
Why? Because she decided to open up land in Suffolk County.
No,
Please.
that's not why I think she gets it.
Okay, why?
I
Delaware
think she gets
gas.
it because she's trying to create the tale of two cities. She wants to make it certain that it's only a city of low income individuals, like housekeepers, lawn mowers, people who don't make over $60,000 a year, and the rich people, the actors, the doctors, the nurse practitioners, the physician assistant, the Wall Street workers, people in the financial district, the developers, right? Those are the people who she wants to remain in New York City, right? She doesn't want the middle class, right? And in essence, those people have pulled themselves up by the bootstraps, right?
But who
They
votes for
are,
her?
she's trying to drive them out.
But who votes for her?
How we do.
The middle class, right?
Yeah.
So she's trying
But
to.
again, what did I say earlier? We don't fight,
Mhm.
right? Think about it. People understand. When was the last time we went to a rally? I brought up the concept of a May 23rd blockage.
They need to lower their housing costs while staying near enough to the city to commute and get the benefits of New York City income. I don't know if there's no benefit in New York City. Seriously, now I think about it, it's not, because the commute is still a mess.
Move who into shelters? Move who? Karen, go back to Karen's comment up top. Affordable for the middle class and particular communities, not for the low income. Actually, and like I said, that was not true, right? It's not affordable for the middle class. If you
Mm.
don't own a home in New York City, if you don't own a home in New York City, right?
It goes up every year.
The rent goes up every year until it becomes unbearable, and you have to make decisions on what you're going to pay for,
Yeah.
right? And whether you're going to get rid of the car or whether your children can't go to certain colleges, or you can't take a vacation with your family. Uh, those kind of things. They're affected by
The
these.
quality of life is
Right.
affected big time. And that's why people are moving out.
Right. And so the low income families don't take vacation, right? They might take a road trip here and a road trip there, but they don't take major vacations with the family, or it might take them years um, to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
The middle class might plan a family trip every year, and that's going to go away because you have to make a decision about rent and those different kinds of quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
Our Black people, Caribbean people, are going to have a problem with going to school. They're
Mm-hmm.
not going to go to some of the more prestigious schools because your income, what the colleges are looking for,
Yeah.
is too high to get decent financial aid.
Don't even go there with the whole financial aid debacle.
I'm
It is a
I'm not talking. I'm not. Let's leave the debacle alone for a minute. But to really look at affordability of college, right?
Mhm.
I know about the financial aid debacle. That's causing some parents some agita, but you're not going to be able to afford it. So a school that costs $60,000-$70,000, you make $150,000, $200,000 as a
Can't hear
unit,
you.
right? Because both of you are.
Can't hear you.
You can't hear us, John?
You can't hear who, John?
He went off. Mhm.
Right? Can anybody else hear us?
Yeah.
Right? If you can, just let us know. Put a note in the thing. So schools that cost Columbia University.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people might not send their kids to Columbia after or everything that just went on.
No, forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the rent. I get what you're saying, and I understand that, right? Can you hear now, John?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So we could come to that as well, Dr. Bryant. But
Thank you, John.
when you're flipping affordability, the college says you make $200,000 a year as a family.
Mm-hmm.
That means that you're supposed to be able to afford $60,000 a year for the child to go to college, or $40,000 a year. But if your rent keeps going up ridiculously, or your taxes going up ridiculously, you can't afford that.
Right.
Or you're going to have to make some serious family cuts to ensure that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, you have to look at it as a problem. A few years ago, you make $200,000 a year as a family, you could afford to go to Columbia. But now you can't. It's harder. So, yes, and then you couple that with the debacle that you're talking about, right? That, will cause problems. John, welcome. We missed you last week. Is everything okay?
Everything is good. Thank you.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Welcome back. I have a number of people asking for you. Some of them are cursing you, John. That's good. They curse Dr. Bryant too. Don't worry about it.
What? Curse me?
Oh,
I
yeah.
have nothing to do with this.
No, they curse you
What
separately.
they curse for?
They said John is just protective of Israel. Mortgages keep going up too. I think both need to be addressed. Yes, Evelyn, I do agree with that. And thank you for joining us, Pastor Busby. Everything is very costly.
Mhm.
You own a church, offering is getting slimmer. Tithe is getting slimmer. So paying the rent in the church, all of that stuff is getting
Well,
slimmer.
people are actually staying, and that was a complaint a lot by a lot of pastors, that people aren't going back into the building. They just decide to stay on and watch it online. And the
Yep.
convenience make it easier for that. So once
Mhm.
they go in, some people decide, okay, great, I tuned in. but they forget about tithes and offering.
Yeah, I'm sometimes guilty of that, right? So I know that there are two churches that I watch online, and sometimes I don't pay offering, right? I am guilty of that because most times I just forget, to be honest with you.
Yeah, right.
No, most times because generally, when do I catch a service, right? What time do I catch a service?
You can always pay later on if they have quick pay, whatever, their website, or
That's true,
you remember, you just pay.
right? That is true. That's not an argument. But it does happen that people don't do it, right?
Listen, everything is affected nowadays.
Yeah,
When you mention the mortgage, when you mention rent, when you mention school, colleges, people are choosing, hey, maybe I can't afford to go to school.
medication.
Medication, then
Yeah,
even some of the restaurants going out of business, like Red
yeah,
Lobster.
yes, I
It,
saw
it,
that.
it's
You know,
amazing.
it's funny, right? I have. Hold on.
And
I'm gonna.
fast food,
No. I'm gonna show you something. Let me
but
get it.
listen, fast
Hold on. Wait. Let me get it. Let me get it. Young John can talk while I go get it.
food is something else. Fast food, people are deciding, hey, we can't afford that because they keep increasing their prices. So now the debate is, do you continue to bring it up? And people are struggling. So they're picking, hey, maybe I can't afford going to McDonald's now because they raised their amount skyrocket.
All right. So this is my medicine bag. I don't know if you can see. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, move it closer. It's shadowed out.
Hold
Okay, we
on.
see a
Let me
little
move back.
bit. Yeah, we see it.
All right. So
And
that's my medicine bag, right? With a lot of my illness, right?
mhm.
And there you go.
Yeah, perfect.
The reason why I'm bringing that up is the following. For example, this pill, I call it my horse pill. I am
Hmm.
actually supposed to take it 3 times a day.
Hmm.
This pill is for my kidney. It costs a lot of money. I don't take it twice a day, right? I don't take it twice a day because of the cost,
Mm.
right? So I have to save money, right? Even with the donation that people gave, I still have to save money. And I'm not saying, so imagine me who received donations, have medical coverage, cut corners on my pill. Imagine somebody who can't even afford the damn pill
Hmm. Hmm.
and have to pay out of pocket or pay a higher copay,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Sometimes they skip a month because of how expensive it has
Medication.
gotten, right? My brother graduated from Columbia
Congrats.
with his doctorate yesterday, and notice how few blacks were represented as part of the graduating class, masters and doctors. Absolutely. Don't even get me started on that, Carla. Don't even get me started. Um, I met with when I was at the hospital last week through this week. I met one black doctor, Kenneth Barron, and kudos to him. He's an internist, and he goes to downstate and Mount Sinai. Congratulations to him. Yesterday at Korea Day at base, I met a 23-year-old doctor. He went to Sophie Davis, got accepted. He's from Ghana,
Hmm.
and he's 23, and he's going to start his residency. He did a Sophie Davis, graduated from high school at 17. And for those of you who don't know about Sophie Davis is a 7-year program that you go right from high school, and then if you do what you need to do, you go high school, college. You spend about 3 years in college, 3.5 years in college, then you start taking medical school classes, and then you go to medical school and graduate. So right, it's a great program, and it's offered through CCNY. Yes, hi, hey Maureen, how you doing? And thank you for that. Can't wait to see you. Because I know you're at work. By the way, John, Maureen loves you. Thinks you're awesome. Right. I think that you're just a ladies' man, John. I don't know what to say. Right, John.
Don't hate the player, man. Hate the game, man.
You're just the ladies' man. Poor Dr. Bryant. Poor Dr. Bryant and I are not getting the same. Same.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's all right. Oh, be quiet. It's not all right for me. I want to get the same play. If you don't want to get no play, that's your business.
Dr. Bryant gets a lot of play. Don't be fooled,
I think she's just. I think
they love Dr. Bryant. They love Dr. Bryant.
I don't think Dr. Bryant get any play. That's what the problem is.
Oh my
God. I think
God.
she gets a lot of play. She loves it. They love her, man. The people on the village love her, man.
Yeah. That I don't know about all of that.
It's all right, Roderick.
All right. I'm gonna be a hater. Forget that.
Yeah, we know that, brother.
I'm gonna, but it's great news. Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
What, the debate?
Yes.
No audience.
You know what? Really, we don't care, and it's the truth. We don't care.
What are you talking about? I keep telling you over and over. Stop saying we. Stop saying we.
Listen.
No.
Here.
Don't listen here. Nothing. Stop saying we. I don't care. Right? Your teacher, or you were. You tell students, let the students answer for themselves. You speak for yourself. I don't care. You know why I know? You know why I say that you use the term I?
Mm-hmm.
Because I care. There's a debate.
Yes, we do not. We don't care. Is right.
I care. And you know why I care?
Why do you care?
Because I want to know what they're going to say. How are they going to protect our country? How are they going to provide jobs? Right? Hey, Jennifer, how are they going to Tracy, right? How are they going to provide jobs? Okay. How are they going to provide public safety?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How is my 401k going to increase? How can I pay for college? Who's going to provide mortgage? Right? Who's going to stop the war in Israel and stop the Jews, not the Jews, but Benjamin Netanyahu from killing innocent people in Palestine? I care.
So you think you're going to get all that from the debate?
You will get a lot of answers from the debate. Because there are going to be questions asked at the debate that will help you to make a decision about who you're going to vote for. Period. So yes.
I'm glad you're putting a lot of emphasis on the debate. I think it's important. It's all about, the debate is about knowledge, and it's all about getting knowledge and seeing, who possesses the knowledge. Not necessarily, I can understand everybody's, we're excited. You know why you're excited about this? Because it gives us an opportunity to hear positions on things and to make a determination, and to make a determination about a person who we feel better suited to represent this country and the ideology of this country, who has the temperament to be president of the United States, or continue to be president of the United States. So you know what, Dr. Bryant, I'm as an educator, we should all, this is knowledge. So I think we should all be interested in the debate because this provides us knowledge in order to be able to articulate positions that may not be favorable to us, but find out about the individual's positions, and we can make a determination based upon that.
There are a lot of people who are independent,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a significant amount of people that are independent
Mm-hmm.
who will make a difference in this election.
Right.
A lot of people who voted for Biden who don't want to vote for Biden.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people voted for Trump who don't want to vote for Trump. And these debates provide the answers to that question.
Mhm.
Are people who are just voting for the first time?
Right.
I don't know, Benev, you're a hater of both leaders, period.
Who's that?
Benev Brutus. You're a hater of both leaders, right?
But why is he a hater of both leaders?
He won't say why you're a hater of both leaders. Who do you want to see in office and why? Right? But the debate is essential. See, there are people.
You know what, Roger? A lot of people, a lot of people don't feel how this will really impact their lives. And you know what? Honestly, we need to be more involved in our local elections because they have more of a direct impact upon our daily lives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We talk about that.
Which we don't. You know, we talk about judges, we talk about the criminal justice systems. We are the ones who put judges in places, put elected officials in places. And if we were a little bit more involved in if we were more involved in the participation of this political game, we would be our country or the city would be a lot different. You know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, villagers. Always remember that. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. You know what I'm saying? And I have, I look at all these, these protesters and what they, it's great to protest, but it had the adverse effect because it has a lot of people who were questioning what Israel was doing. But now when you're combining that with the hatred and the violence and stuff like that, people are not going to support your cause.
Right.
So mistake one. That's one mistake. Second mistake is we fail to be open-minded about issues that we don't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
I want to add something to what you're saying, John, and that's there are people who have already made up their minds,
right,
that Biden is a bum or Donald Trump is a crook,
right,
and I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump. I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden.
So what are they going to vote for? No one?
I mean, one or the other. So they might say that I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden. I believe everything that Trump is saying, so I'm going to vote for Trump. Or the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I believe everything that...
But Trump's support is more committed than the Democrats. Democrats are too wishy-washy. They waffle back and forth. If you don't, what's funny? They talk about, Joe Biden's not doing anything. Let Donald Trump become president again. You'll see what's going to happen. You wouldn't be able to have these protests. Sometimes be careful what you ask for.
I spoke to one person.
Roger, I don't have to cut you.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Former President or Donald Trump does not scare me because he is transparent about who he is. We can respect that. But what concerns me about Trump is the people he surrounds himself with.
Yep.
And I was there was an article about a young man that he had that was his body person, a 33-year-old guy, and he did a TikTok in which he said he was giving homeless people fake money. So he's saying, it makes me feel good that I'm giving them something, but at the same time, it's fake money, and they're going to go spend it, and you know what? They're just going to get arrested for spending money, and this is a way I'm helping the criminal justice system because I'm getting them off the street. This is the mindset of a 33-year-old who was the body person for former President Trump. You got Stephen Miller, who's a nationalist. You have Bannon. That's the problem. You have these people who he surrounds himself with, who are nationalists, who are racist.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Janine, and you got Judge Jeanine Pirro. This was a woman who was the DA and it was actually a judge. And her ideologies is so in tune, in line with Trump. It is frightening that this woman was the DA and a judge. Frightening.
There's a
Frightening.
I keep telling people, and I say it again, you don't like the makeup of the Supreme Court, you let Donald Trump win.
Oh hell yeah.
Right? You make Donald Trump win. George Bush won in 88. He puts Clarence Thomas in as judge. It might have been the reason why he lost the election in 92. But the fact is, Clarence Thomas is still judge from 91 up to today, which is 33 years.
Yep.
All right. So the federal judges, right? He's responsible for the
points. Yep.
Right. He's responsible for the head of the federal police, of Department of Homeland Securities, and who can enter into this country, especially people who are looking to bring their loved ones in. Right. It's not just the president of the United States that you're looking at. You're looking at a wholesale.
It impact your rights overall.
Impact, right? A wholesale impact.
Decisions that's made.
Education.
That's changed.
Affected. Right.
Look at the student loans. Look what's going on with the student loans. The interest rates on the student loans are going up.
Yep. It's going to be impacted. You might like one thing about the migrants, right? But you're not a one issue person. You have to look at pro-life, right? You have to look at
You know what's the biggest hypocrisy for all these Republicans who are talk about the pro-life they should be dictating, making these decisions, for these women. But when it came to the COVID vaccine, they said, there shouldn't be a mandate. Let people do what they want to do. Let people have freedom of choice to choose whether or not they want to put a vaccine in their body. But however, they don't want to give a woman a choice to make a decision whether or not she wants to continue with the pregnancy, to term with her pregnancy.
John, I'm not even going to go that far. I'm going to say many of these damn pro-life people, they utilize pro-choice, but all of a sudden they get elected and now they're pro-life. Get out of here. They're a bunch of hypocrites. I'm not even going to go that far because you're absolutely correct. But how many of them? Look at like Herschel Walker, for example. For governor.
Please.
Right? How many of them had babies that they didn't take care of? Parents had to take them to court. But you're pro-life. Pro-life means take care of your goddamn kids.
True.
Regardless of what those kids are. Don't let your mothers take you to court. You're pro-life. Right. You want to see this child in existence. Why are you going to court? Make a settlement. Right? Don't be a hypocrite. So you're right. What you're saying is 100% correct. but let's follow through on every
Yes.
aspect of pro-life. Pro-life is not just giving birth, right? Pro-life is what are you doing to take care of that child when that child
Oh,
gets
they don't want to take care of the child. They just want to cut the benefits.
exactly.
Give me the resources to take care of the child. They don't want to do that. They just want to cut resources.
Exactly.
Everybody needs to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. First of all, they need to have boots to pull up the bootstraps.
There you go. Right? You know, you leave
So
that.
give me an opportunity. Give me the opportunity to get a pair of boots.
Right? Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Right? Today's before I forget, happy birthday, Jomani Williams. I know today he's celebrating his birthday.
Congratulations to the public advocate.
Yeah, yes, today is, he's celebrating his birthday, but unfortunately I cannot go. Because
Where's the celebration at?
Don't say it on air.
It's
Why not?
Brooklyn. Yeah, it's not
It's
something.
a fundraiser. I'm quite sure it's a fundraiser.
Quite sure it's a fundraiser. It's let me see what he. Let me see. Germani. All right. The fundraiser at BK9 in Brooklyn.
BK9. Where's that at?
Wow. Williamsburg.
Okay, BK9.
All right, BK9. I have to look it up. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I can't go. BK9 Caribbean Restaurant. And actually, it's not in Bushwick. It's in Sunset Park. BK9. It's 625 Fifth Avenue.
Okay.
All right, 625 Fifth Avenue. It says the Caribbean Restaurant.
Karen says our grandparents have been voting for 60 years for both parties for equity, equality of quality lifestyle. Still hasn't happened. Need to see and feel the benefit of paying taxes.
I think like I
Go ahead, Roger. Yeah.
like I stated before, every candidate has a certain part that we like. We have to look at our overall values. And
Our
then,
overall value. One thing is we got to acknowledge our mistakes. Our mistakes is President Biden did make a mistake on the border. Acknowledge it, own it, and do something about it.
exactly. But that's what I'm saying, right? So we might think that Donald Trump has the answer for the migrants, right? Which he doesn't, because he never got his border up to begin with, right? He lied, right? And he wasn't able to get it done.
But it wasn't a huge influx the way it's an influx now. It wasn't that way. You got to call it spade a spade, brother.
I don't know that it wasn't, right? I don't know that it wasn't, because for him to think about
not the numbers that are coming through this, not the numbers.
John, I don't know if I agree or disagree, right? What I'm saying is, in order for him to make it an issue, right, it had to be an issue to begin with, right? I don't think that he goes about and created that issue, right? So the border had to be a concern, right? And he didn't get it done.
And Mexico didn't pay for it.
Right. Mexico didn't pay for it because I don't know how you're going to get another sovereign to pay for something in your sovereign.
Right.
Especially since migrants come to America benefited Mexico, since they get the remittance, right? And those remittance are taxable, right? And is a large part of your gross national product, right?
Right.
As it is in all third world countries. So I don't know that we didn't pay attention back then.
Right.
So we don't know what the numbers are. Okay.
Mhm.
We know that a lot of people are coming to the border from other foreign countries, not just Mexico anymore.
Right.
Venezuela, a big
Right.
amount.
No, a whole bunch of different countries. I mean, right? That's the difference.
Hmm. Hmm.
We don't necessarily know the number of Mexicans that came across the border,
Right.
documented or undocumented, who were swimming across the border, who was climbing fences because there was a need for the fence,
Right. Right. Hmm.
right? But the border became more open for other nations.
Right.
Okay, it could have been 100,000 Mexicans when Trump was in office, but now it's 100,000 people of different nationalities.
Mhm.
Correct.
So we don't know, right? Unless that number comes up. Um, I saw a video on a different subject. I saw a video recently, and it was very disturbing. Right. Oh, before I go on to that video, John, uh, I don't know if I can't remember if we discussed the woman in the Bronx that was lassoed from
That,
behind.
that happened this week.
What happened?
Happened last week. That happened last week.
What
Um,
happened? I didn't hear
the
about this.
the woman was walking, and some guy came up behind her and lassoed her with a belt, took her between two cars,
Yes, I heard about that. Yes, yes, yes.
right?
I heard about that. Yeah.
Right, pulled her pants down and began to sexually
Assault
rape.
her.
Let's just call it what it is. Began to rape her. I'm glad that they found out who it was. And what one of my fears is the copycats, right? Because you're bound to have copycats with situations like that. So before I talk about any other things, I wanted
Hmm.
to make sure that I announce that our ladies out there need to be, and men, right? Because they could do it to men to rob them, and
Hmm.
it is to rob them and rape them,
Mm.
right? So they have to be careful about how they're roaming the streets at nights and be careful about that.
Correct. I
You know,
agree. Correct. Correct.
and I'm very pleased that they caught the stinking dirty bum, right? But I also want to talk about this week, yesterday. The news brought up a young man who was riding a scooter and was violently attacked and stabbed in broad daylight. The viciousness, you could see it on camera how the guy is getting stabbed up.
Wow, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, about out there in Woodside, Queens.
There's
Mm.
a couple of stabbings that happened.
Uh-huh.
A couple of stabbings that happened yesterday in schools. I don't know what it is. People are becoming more and more vicious, like you said. Heartless, from young people to older folks.
They've lost hope. They've lost hope and they've lost faith. That's exactly what it is.
You know,
They lost hope, faith, and respect for human beings, for other human beings.
it's the expectation of life, right? I'm not thinking about the value of my life. Look at the video, the real video, right?
You know what? Looking at a video like that of somebody getting stabbed, it does something to you. You know, a lot of times they show videos of crimes happening, people become desensitized. So sometimes it's not a good thing to play certain videos. Yes, you could catch the person if you see their face or whatever, but to put that ongoing, it does something to your psyche. It really does. And especially thinking about this month, you're seeing more and more. Mental health is something that I speak about all the time, but it is something that is a problem.
It is. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is, but all of it isn't, right? All of it isn't mental health, right? All
Some
of it.
are people that they let out that they shouldn't, that have history of the similar type of crime. So
Yeah.
it goes back to certain policies.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to a lot of things, monitoring, when certain laws and things are put in place, like we had said before, who is monitoring some of the laws that's affecting, and how is affecting
Mm-hmm.
overall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, you're right. There's a lot of relevance to what you're saying, right? But I, you know, I'm watching another video when two acquaintances started chopping each other at the Shell gas station,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's too much.
right? And they're friends, right? Is it really
They're not
mental?
friends. They're not friends. If you're chopping each other
No,
up, you're
I'm
not
saying they know each other, right?
okay.
They're two acquaintances. You saw them in a picture
I would
together,
say none of friends. I would say acquaintances. Correct.
right? No, they might be friends,
You
Listen,
never know.
right? Maybe not deep down they weren't friends, but the perception is that they were friends, right? They were in pictures together, right? And you saw them chop up each other. I think one of them actually eventually died,
okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
too much
right?
business.
Um, one of them essentially died. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
all the different cuts and marks
Mm-hmm.
that he had on his body, right? But you saw the picture of all four of them hanging out,
Mm-hmm.
right? All four of them hanging out. They took a picture together, and you know what? Many years ago, I saw this happen already in person, and what I did was I walked away. I did. There were two family members who hung out together,
Mhm.
went to a club, and they started arguing. They literally started arguing at the club. Went
Mm-hmm.
outside and became a big fight. I walked
Mm-hmm.
out to my car and I drove off.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and eventually nothing really happened other than they were fighting, and then they became, whatever, sobered up and things were okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the other one found out about the other one in this particular case that caused the anger that existed. Um, but you see this happening. I tell people all the time, most violent acts don't happen amongst random strangers.
So let's talk about and people. I hear what you're saying, but people are just more bold nowadays. They don't care. There's a sense of not caring. Even, for example, what you said about friendship at the gas station, they don't care who's around. The little girl who got shot walking to the store with her sister got shot. They don't care. There is a lack of respect for people's lives. Here's another one, the assassination attempt of the leader.
Prime Minister's.
hmm So he's giving a speech, he's going around, and then guess what? Shooting off 5 rounds on this man. That is ridiculous. But his security system, it took them a long time to bring the man down. So here it is. You're speaking. It help us appreciate what type of security we have in place based on prior experience from Kennedy, that um our security of our leaders are more protected. But it's a tragedy for that to step up. And looking at the other countries where you have people who are running
Right.
for office or in office that they assassinate, that's something.
That's correct.
That is something. You're giving a speech and then here you are. You're trying to survive now.
Yeah, this is what Dr. Brian is talking about is the Slovakian prime minister attempted
Assassination attempt.
to survive the injuries, right? And it's real, right? It's real what's
Janice
happening.
brought up, look what Janice brought up. I also believe that Xboxing games on the internet also contributes to crime.
I think all of that. I believe the Xbox and games. You know what? It's not just the Xbox, Janice. It's social media, right? It's social media.
Social media.
And
Social media.
and
Right.
its overall attempt to motivate,
Good evening.
create the minds of people, and not only that, but cultivate as well, right? The social media wants you to think a certain way, right? And if you're not careful, right? If you're not careful, it's going to consume you.
Correct.
Some of these television shows, Love and Hip Hop, wives of this and housewives of this and housewives of that with the violence.
You think the housewives have violence?
Absolutely. There are a lot of cursing. There are a lot of when I watch them, they're cursing each other out. They're disrespecting each other for various reasons.
No. I watch it, so that's the reason why I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I tune out a lot of times. Right, I go back and I watch a show like The Residency. You're muted. You're muted, Dr. Brian. I can't hear you.
I'm not muted.
Okay, I didn't hear you though.
No. I just think it's interesting. I didn't think that the housewives would have been violence based on the title, but okay.
Right, just they have blunt conversations that are unnecessary.
Okay.
What else is going on?
You know what? Our mayor is in trouble about what? Not in trouble, but you got to be careful what he states. One of the things that he mentioned was about calling immigrants excellent swimmers. It sparked the controversy. And also,
What was the context in which it was said?
John, stop defending the mayor. It was
I'm
wrong.
not defending the mayor. I'm asking, what is the context in which it was said?
He might have said it as a joke, but you're the mayor.
that there would be great lifeguards. That's what he said.
Right.
So, but what was the question?
He wanted to talk about filling the shortage of lifeguards.
So he wouldn't have just said migrants can swim well. There's a prior question that was made. So the only thing I'm saying is, before people start, look in the context in which things were said. I don't believe everything. I don't believe everything that I see in the paper because all the newspapers have their own agenda about things. So.
Well, the newspaper have their highlights that they want to present, and they might not present the whole story until you read the whole story. However, right, calling migrants excellent, and not immigrants, but migrants, excellent swimmers, regardless of the content, does not sound good. And at the end of the day, he's the mayor, and he should know that that's a soundbite.
You know what? That's the problem what we expect from people. We all are human beings. Never forget that. And that's what we tend to forget. We are not perfect in this world.
Yes.
You know?
That is true. Right.
So again, Roderick, tell me the context in which it was said, my friend.
And regardless of the context, right? Just like I defended Kathy Hochul last week, right? Just like I defended Kathy Hochul or a stupid comment about black people,
Mhm.
right? I defended her because I said she might have misspoke. He might have misspoke, but you have to be careful about what you say.
So that's all you have to say. You have to be careful about what you said because people can take it different ways, or
Exactly.
people can twist what you want to say to fit their agenda.
All right. So
Thank
I
you.
bring up a comment about the Jews, right?
Right.
The moment I bring up the comment, without even finishing what I'm going to say, you and Dr. Bryant go, "Hey, Roderick, pause." Right?
No, it all depends what you're saying, brother.
No, I would say
I will-
pause because you're. If I start off saying I don't want to be anti-Semitic, but you're like, stop.
No, I think people, Broderick, people. I know you. People know you're not anti-Semitic. You're just making a point of view. People may not want to hear it, but people can respect that you're saying it, and they respect that you're a person who's consistent supporting the people. You're raising an issue. That's all it is.
Yeah, but some people, I'm telling you, but some people look at it anti-Semitic. Go back to a couple comments. One is Kevin's. Kevin and I grew up. Was it Kevin or Sickle? I don't remember which one it is.
Is it this?
That says that I've become older and desensitized.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. So the only reason why New York, no, not that, but
Yes.
that is true. That does have. Rather could think because you are getting older, you're more sensitized to the violence. These violent acts have been happening forever. You're right. Right. You're right. But why should they continue? Right. You're right.
Why should it be the norm? Why should it be the norm? Why should it be the norm?
Right. And
why do we have to accept it as the norm?
Right. Let's be honest with you. We grew up in the he and I both grew up in Brownsville, John. You grew up in Brownsville. You saw the violence in Brownsville when you were growing up, right? Right. And I saw it. Right. I saw I saw people here today, gone tomorrow. A lot of that happened. Or
correct.
Literally walk in the street regularly and maim the next moment. Right. I remember my next door neighbor, James, not next door, but a couple houses down from me on my block. Christmas season, he got killed on the train, 21 years old. Right. He was only a couple of years older than me.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're right, Kevin, that I've become more sensitized because I'm no longer young. Right. And I see what the torment that he has done to families.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And the burial, right? I see the burial. You know, it's funny. I had in 1996, I got arrested.
Oh boy.
Something stupid. And I spent the night in jail. And then they released me. And then at that time, they gave me 3 days community service because at the time they were doing a lot of stop and frisk. And one young black men criminal record.
Right.
The thing was actually it was 95. Right. It was 95.
Mm-hmm.
The thing was expunged, but in 96 when I got hired, it showed up.
Right.
In 2016 when I was going to become an assistant principal, it came back up.
So it really wasn't a sponge.
Imagine you commit a violent act and you're going for a job and you have to explain that violent act. And my act wasn't even violent. Right? It was more about stop and frisk. I got pulled over once. The guy said, you made a turn at such and such street. I said, yo, dude, I live right here. I got pulled over on Saratoga between Sutter and Blake. 1 block from my house. 1 block from my house. The guy said I made a right turn. I ran the light at Rockaway Parkway. And if you know Brownsville, That's about 5 blocks from my house.
Right.
And he rushed me, made a U-turn. Not rushed, he didn't make a U-turn. He pulled up in front of me, pulled me over, and was very aggressive. All
Right.
because I was driving a nice car as a young man.
It was profile.
All right. And it was under Giuliani, he wanted a lot of stop and frisk.
Mm-hmm.
Right, dude. I'm like, yo, I'm a college student. I live here. I rented a car and I'm coming from New York. Or coming from my house around the corner. Oh,
Then they didn't
that's impossible.
want to hear. Right.
Right?
Correct.
So you're right. You got arrested because you mouthed off to the police, regardless of why I got arrested. I didn't mouth off to the police either. I said
Right.
my comment was when he pulled us over, right? I said to my cousin, was with me at the time, if they don't want anything, it's time for us to go. Oh, so you think you're big and bad? Blah, 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 blah. Boom. Let me serve you all of these tickets. No, it wasn't jaywalking. Shut up. For riding a bicycle through a red light. Right? Got arrested for riding a bicycle through a red light.
Really?
Yep, that's what it was. Rockaway and Sutter Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Rockaway and Blake, between Blake and Sutter. They pulled me over, pulled my cousin and I over. I started addressing my cousin because he fit the description of somebody who had shot somebody in the face. So he fit the description, so they started questioning him. Right? So these are real issues that are happening. So you're right, Kevin, that the violence is not new. Right? The violence is not new, but when is it going to stop? When is the cycle going to stop?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that's what we need to think about. We're older now.
Right.
Right. I'm in a group and the person said, take the violence out of the group. I didn't like that comment. I wanted the comment to be, stop the violence, period. Not just take it out of the group so you guys can argue and fight and kill each other outside of the group. But you need to stop the violence, period. And this behavior is not acceptable. I mean, most people are like, this is stupid and not acceptable.
You know, Rajic, but that at the end of the day, you know, villagers, I think we need to reflect upon what do we actually want in life, in our communities, and how can we make where we are, because we're on this earth just temporarily, but how can we make it a better place for all of us to bring our children and just to live right? So villagers, I just want to, I want to challenge you. What difference, or what difference would you make, or what would you do differently to change the violence, to change the lack of respect, to change the economic environment in our communities? We would love some suggestions. We want to know your thoughts on those issues. How can we make where we live better?
Mm-hmm.
Can we do it block by block, community by community, and just keep expanding? Because I think the most important thing is people need to have a vested interest in their community.
Yes. You said
so
it.
On that note, I want to wish my villagers a great evening, great weekend. I hope all the mothers had a great Mother's Day. And as you well, Dr. Bryant. So, see you next week.
All right. Before we go and before I close up, I just want to remind people that there are a lot of things happening with DCP, Department of City Planning. So reach out to the community boards in New York City if you're there. And by the way, it's going to become a nationwide conversation around housing. So get involved, like John said. Get involved with the issues, know what's going on. You're right, Karen, to think of Black Wall Street, to think of Black parties, things like that people used to enjoy in life. Before I close out. Dr. Bryant, do you have any parting words?
I do. I actually want to wish my brother a happy birthday. Um, he
What's his
should be
name?
Jeffrey, my brother Jeffrey, a happy
Happy birthday,
birthday,
Jeffrey.
and Jalen's dad. And just want to tell people, you know what? Let's be the change that we want to be. Let's do something about it because
Amen.
it is tiring to talk about it and not do something about it. So let's make the change happen.
Amen.
That's you know what, villagers. I think there's nothing else to be added to what Dr. Bryant just said. So thank you everyone for watching, viewing, participating on The Village, where we are dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today. Your success is not just spoken, it is done. I am Roderick Daly, the host, CEO, joined by our co-host, John Sampson, and our co-hostess, Dr. Joan Bryan, our executive producer, Andre Doman, and our producer, Sophia Willissey. God bless and we will see you next week, God's willing. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Bonne nuit.